Does any other member wish to speak? The honourable member from West Bay North.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I stand early. This is not something there's going to be any political posturing, because it's not silly season, Mr. Speaker. It's more like stupid season, in and out. I only knew two people that I heard stand on the platform. Other people may say that I didn't hear it. That campaign on the decriminalization was the minister from the North Side and myself. In fact, why it stands out, the late, great Mr. Rupert E. Banks is a constituent of mine, God bless his soul. And the night that I said it on the platform, the next day I went by his house to look for him. I said, Uncle Rupes, I know how this business runs. They're going to tell you one thing. I said, last night I campaigned. Last night I talked about the decriminalization of ganja. He said, that's stupidness. Mr. Speaker, in my mind, I said, woo, what kind of expected this? Then I got a lick in my chest. He said, legalize it. He said, from Star Chick time, there's only us in West Bay who know who Star Chick is. And he said, it's been around. And they've been fighting it from then, and they can't stop it. I said, well, Uncle Rupes, here's my reasons why I want to decriminalize it. It's more than one fold. And I heard the Minister of Tourism say about the people getting a medical emergency. We had that live and in color with a young Hides in West Bay. When he was 19 years old, they chased him into the sea with and found a piece of spliff floating, and he got something behind his name called a police record. At the age of 56, had a massive heart attack, and we could not fly him out to the United States. It is live, just like what the Minister for Tourism said. Mr. Speaker, the other reason that I campaign on it is because I know the amount of young men who are good young men for a simple spliff can't get no job. But yet we have everybody coming from the beautiful snowy north with all kind of records that have been cleansed for many things. And our Caymanians, as usual, are being sidelined. Like I'm taking one at a time. But how many have done their research? Because the leader of the opposition just said something just now. When this is approved, and I'm sure it will be, we then have to do our homework on the limits and so forth. I went around, I talked to young people. I said, if this happened, people, a lot of us don't like the smoking in public. If we get it decriminalized, will you all just work with us and stay in your yard and smoke? They all, almost to a man and woman, they said, yeah, we got it easy then. Second part that most people don't talk about, Mr. Speaker, is we all are fed up of the shooting and stuff is going on. Do you know where the majority of those guns come in from? A lot of people want to blame customs, but they're not doing the job and pieces getting through. Customs is not perfect. I'm sure one or two pieces might get through, but the majority of those come in the ganja trips. That's why when talking to the people, they said, allow us to grow 4, 5, 6 trees in our backyard. They don't have to get no supply from overseas. Mr. Speaker, we can't stop it. Just like the numbers. But everybody is always afraid to jump on these things. Those are some of my reasons why, Mr. Speaker. It's here. It's not going anywhere. And if you want to make a list of who smoke and who don't smoke, I guarantee you the list of who don't smoke is a lot smaller. Let us move on to the gambling. Mr. Speaker, once again, the leader of opposition said something just now. He's 100% right. He said that we put up a national lottery. Is that going to stop what's happening with the numbers? And that's where serious money is as well. Serious money leaving this country. Because the one Caymanian we had doing it, we pressured that person, their family, so much so that the courts threw out everything, the illegal way to do it, and it's going to cost us money in the long run. Allegedly. I appreciate that. Thank you. Mr. Speaker, but yet, the numbers, set of numbers that they call Jamaican numbers, is growing like wildfire. I can go and see it 10, 12 times all over the place, but the authorities, the powers that be can't see it. It makes people wonder. A Caymanian can't benefit, but other people can. That's typical in this country these days, though. Mr. Speaker, we have to research both, not only a national lottery, but those same numbers that people come out of church and saying, one number play, we want that too. And the Minister for Tourism named off everything about what the money could be used for, except my two. I remember the first SPS we ever did. I knew where that is. In Jolly, or Motherland, make me be politically correct. They do the lottery and they do the gambling, and the money goes to education and sports and stuff. I do hope that if we do God's will, and when this is approved as well, because this is another one that's going to win, that sports will get their share of it, that we can do what really needs to be done in this country. And last, Mr. Speaker, is the birthing, the thing for the cruise ships. From the beginning, I told the Minister for Tourism, did I not tell you I was supporting it? And Mr. Speaker, the member from West Bay Central also supported it. We discussed it. The member from West Bay South also supported, but said where? And I had the same question, and the other question I had was, seeming I told the minister when we came out of COVID, because a lot of people in this country is talking about this government, but in spite of having inside moles that carry news out, and people who's on our side still paying membership in other people groups, and all kind of stuff, this government started off, we were not about free school lunches. Coming out of COVID, what we did, we only operated real and truly for 18 months to 2 years. But that's the nature of the beast. There's one thing I learned. If you help Jean on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and when you can't help Jean on Thursday, Jean talk bad about you. Mr. Speaker, the member from West Bay South and myself had one or two small discussions on this. And we always said the same thing. Yes, we need a berth. Yes, we want it. But where will it be? And that, I'm sure, the other people will speak to, because it cannot be a selfish thing. It has to be someplace. I am sure if we put it in the right places, the environmental people will work with us. But what I did say to the Minister of Tourism, like when we came out of COVID, we can press the reset button on these cruise ships, because a lot of people don't like when I say this, but they're a bunch of leeches. And we do not have the ability to stick together. You say it's $100 for something, and by the time you get from Georgetown to get back to West Bay or Bordentown, okay, I'll do it to you for $50. And they have taken advantage of us, and the prices that our product is going for, we're doing a lot of pressure on infrastructure for little or nothing. The cruise lines making all the money. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm hoping that all three, me personally, is hoping that all three of these things will pass. But like the minister, the head of the opposition said, when these are approved, if they are approved, then the work begins as to things like where will we put it? Where will it be the less environmentally impacted? Where will less impact? And is the gambling only a national lottery, or do we go after the real money? And if we're not going to go after the real money, are we going to go after these people that has not been benefiting? Because I can tell the world this, and people know. When I was rebuilding track and field, when I was rebuilding other sporting teams, I could depend on one of those Caymanians who allegedly was in the business that always helped the poor children that came out of West Bay, came out of Logwood, came out of Windsor Park, came out of the swamp, and Central as well. Unlike a lot of people, I was in all these corners working. So, Mr. Speaker, I'm not getting up here and playing no games. I don't wait for anybody saying, like I said, there's one thing that I know, is that there's no argument on, even last night, I was accosted by a young lady who works in a really good job. You promised us the decriminalization of marijuana. And I'm going to give credit to the former premier. He said, let us just do it straight. There's no need to go to the referendum. I was one of those that said, no, let's put it to the referendum. Why? I wanted to get young people to register to vote because the young people are so fed up of us. They're every time in caucus and cabinet, if these people can find it amongst themselves to speak the truth. I brought it up all the time. Are we addressing why our young people don't want to come back home? Are we addressing the fact that they come home qualified and they're not given the jobs? Mr. Speaker, this government picked up the bucket or buckets that were kicked down the road for a long time on many issues and tried to address them. And I'm proud to say, the time that I was inside, I know I worked for my people and tried for my people. Did I get help? Sometimes yes, sometimes no. But Mr. Speaker, these issues, I, on many occasions, heard one or two people tell us, I tell the Minister for Tourism, go build your port. That's what you're elected for. And he always said, because there's a lot of stuff going to go back and forth. I got called it as I see it on my side because, let me tell you something, no one can ever accuse Bernie Bush of riding in the fence. Everybody always knew where I stood. And he said, no, the people should have their say. So when things go south, they can say the people spoke. Am I right, Mr. Minister? And like I said, we in West Bay, we always knew where the member from West Bay Central or West Bay West stood on this. You don't have to question him. But the other three members of us agreed that we needed a port. We wanted a port. And it was where and how could we work with the environmental people? Simple. So, Mr. Speaker, with those few words, I want to say thank you, and I do hope that everybody gets a chance to vote their conscience.